right, well, we're back. You know, all this shit worked, and I don't come in here.
I know.
I don't touch nothing.
I know.
I mean, it's not like I left it sitting in a parking lot for 2 years.
Was your left headset working, Fudd? Tad? Pat? Tim?
No.
What the fuck is his name?
No.
I can fix it all in post. It's just
Was your left on?
Yeah, the right wasn't on. The left was, right wasn't.
you probably get your fucking headphones on backwards. You are a trade wreck. All right, Power and Speed. Here we are again on a Monday night. Crunch is stuck in absolutely astronomical traffic. I think this guy's got to get a job in New Jersey. He's got to stop fucking around in New York.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's out of control. I mean, he was stuck on the Parkway or the Turnpike. I don't know, one of them. I don't ever go that way.
Well, this is 2 in a row. It's going on his permanent record.
A permanent record.
It has to, right?
What do we have a demerit system?
Yeah, we do.
So, what do you got to say here, Tom?
908-751-0211. Give us a call. And Tim?
And like us on Facebook.
No.
There you go.
Way to go.
There you go, Pat. Well, I think at least in my estimation, the big news of the week has to be the fact that Tad Subaru runs again.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of news out there. A lot of newsworthy stuff that we'll get to, but I would agree.
That's much bigger than the Street Outlaws crash or any of that shit.
Yeah, street race we were at.
The street race we were at. Yep. Tad Subaru runs. Tad, I'm going to give you the opportunity to climb out of the barrel. Okay?
Because you're in it.
Because you're about to be in it badly. I'm going to give you the opportunity to climb out. How did your car get fixed, Tad?
How did it get fixed?
Yes.
Step by step?
Yeah.
Well, I took the back seat out. I unbolted the stuff.
He went
I pulled out the fuel pump.
Here it comes, Tad.
What?
Was your fuel bad?
No.
Okay.
It's in my car now, and I'm still driving it.
What was the first thing I told you when you said or asked you when your car didn't start? What did I ask you? This was when it was still in its resting place at the condos. What did I ask you?
Well, my oil pressure was.
No, I asked you if you had a very specific reading from the car. What was that reading?
You know, there's a thing in the car. It's a thing. It looks like a clock.
Oh, the OBD2 port?
No. It looks like a clock.
Clock?
Well,
it's digital clock.
It's in performance cars. Okay, well, look, I'm going to cut to the chase because Tad doesn't want to say it. Hold on real quick. How much, Tad, does your Disco Duck fucking FP Orange or whatever the fuck you have make? How much boost does that thing make?
32 pounds.
How do you know that?
Well, he's got that gauge, I'm sure. Because he needs to know the boost, but...
It's got a Tattletale digital gauge, though.
Okay.
Killing me.
The guy who is now going to come out of his mouth with, I don't need a fuel pressure gauge, it's a street car. I don't know too many street cars that make 32 pounds of boost. And obviously, if you're making 32 pounds of boost, I think if your brain functioned at all, and we won't even get into the Fiesta thing, that you would need to know the fuel pressure to make sure you're just not going to burn the thing up. And I understand it's a legendary JDM 2-liter motor.
Ooh,
yes.
I get it. But I'm sure it's still susceptible to damage.
Quite possibly.
Okay.
JDM.
So should we try this again? Who fixed your car? You might have turned the wrenches. Who fixed your car? I'm giving you the chance.
Say it, Ted.
Junior wasn't there.
Say it, Bill.
Could be Mike.
All right. Now, thank you, Ted.
That was difficult for him to do.
Yes, it was.
You should be thankful.
Now, I will say this, that I did not fix it in the 20 minutes I allotted myself. Not even close.
No, I know.
But
I think I assisted a little bit.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
You did?
Yeah, he did on the texting.
Oh.
Trying to figure out why the motor, I couldn't see the cylinders.
He didn't know where they were.
I thought they were bent. Somebody bent them flat.
Well, I tried to tell him that the spark plugs are a little bit of a pain in the ass to get to.
Yeah, and they were. I mean, it was a little confusing, but when I took, all the return line off and nothing came out.
Yeah.
What led us down retard highway was you saying that fuel regulator module or whatever, and it might very well be the case. Subaru guys, if anybody's listening, correct me, feel free. I don't know that it varies the voltage to the pump. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It's got a heat sink on it, so it could very well be a variable voltage deal. But I could never imagine that it would vary the voltage so much that you would have nothing coming out of the return line.
Well, I was thinking the regulator something was bad there.
Well, think about this. If the regulator was bad, it would have massive amounts of fuel.
Or nothing. I don't know.
No, what happened? Well, if the regulator, I don't think the regulator. Listen, I'm not even going to get into this with you.
Yeah,
I fixed it.
He's got a polka pickle on the car or something.
No.
Disco potato.
What is that? What it is? Disco potato?
Not in any way, shape, or form. But anyway,
No. What is that?
Come on, we were making all kind of names for it.
What is-
no, it's got an FP green, which everybody with Subarus knows what that is.
What
Should.
does that stand for?
I don't
Force
know.
Performance. It's the green. They have a red. They have a black. They codename their turbos with colors.
Is it green like a 20G? Oh, it's like a 16G?
No, it's like a 20, I think. Or that wasn't me.
I don't think it's me either. Somebody's vibrating.
Wow.
Somebody's on pleasure.
All right. Let's just put it this way. Tad.
Yeah.
I fixed your car. You're welcome. You're welcome. It does run. I will say that I take back everything I said about his clutch. He's got a new clutch, or a newer clutch from the last time I was in this fucking Mook's car. And it ran. It was nice to back up.
What kind of clutch is it?
It's one of Junior's. That's all I know of it.
One of Junior's. I don't know. I didn't know Junior made clutches now.
That's awesome.
He's
Yeah,
multifaceted.
that is awesome.
What color is it?
Like I didn't put it in.
So you don't know anything about it?
Well, I know it's a clutch. Or
Tad.
it's good. What?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Your boost control valve, is the model for that a 38-24? Is that what that is?
It was vice grips for the longest time.
I think it's 38.24-1
Yeah.
because you only need one of them.
Yes. I want the listeners to know that Tad has a boost controller, and I guess I didn't let you out of the barrel completely. His boost controller is a fish tank valve with a 3/8 24 bolt threaded in the end of it, so it can no longer bleed off any boost.
Nothing.
Yeah, but that's just sitting there. Normally it was vice grips clamped to it so it couldn't freaking
I
move.
don't think that really helps how it works, Tad. And now keep in mind that just so everybody understands the lunacy of this, this is the guy that didn't have a fuel pressure gauge. It makes 32 pounds of boost because the turbocharger's locked up solid, the wastegate's closed,
Right.
but he doesn't need a gauge.
No. Moving on. 908-751-0211.
And like us on Facebook.
I'm just happy, Tad, that you gave me credit where credit was due.
All right, can I?
That I fixed your shit box.
Well, it's not.
Well, you got it
completely
running. It's
fixed.
not
Yeah, it's
fixed.
running.
What do you mean it's not fixed? It runs. It wasn't supposed to run. Who's calling?
I don't know. Find out.
Hang on a minute.
Could it be Alan?
I don't know.
No.
Hey, buddy, you're on the air.
This is the crunch.
Oh, yeah. I got fucked up contacts and I can't see the screen.
What's going on, fellas?
I hope it came over loud and clear that Tad admitted that I did, in fact, fix his car.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you didn't hear that little part? Tad, just so I can feel better about it, say again who fixed your car.
Tom told
No.
Mike what to tell me. So
No, his goofy little shitbox runs, and we're going to spend probably the next, I don't know, probably 2 weeks detatting it.
Yeah,
Because it's
untatting it.
Untatting it. It's
Wow.
quite bad. And for anybody that's listening, this will be
We're going to document it. Yeah.
for our Facebook.
Right.
Was it that bad?
Yeah. We'll have to talk about this Aquanet
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck you got going on there. What the hell is that thing called?
the what?
Aquabot, Aquanet?
Fucking
Aquamist.
yeah.
Okay. Apparently, I don't quite understand how these wires got randomly strewn all over the engine compartment, but he said something about, well, yeah, I put these here and they didn't need to be here. I don't.
So he ran new ones.
I guess so.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
I ran them out to there. They said, "Oh no, you're supposed to pick up the right off of the ECU under the dash." So I was like, "All right," and I never went any further. Just
All
let
right.
it sit there.
This is not good radio right now.
No, it's funny for me because I understand. Now, Crunch, I gotta ask you before anybody calls in to hate on you, why weren't you? And the way that we have to phrase this is what at the location we're talking about
In the woods in South Jersey.
in the woods in South Jersey for the street race. Because I got to tell you, it was
Oh, okay. Well, the last show I wasn't present because I was in the emergency room getting the asthma treatment. So right now, this time of year, the transition from warm to cold is a little rough for me with my asthma. So that's what happened in the last episode. Now, I couldn't go and stand around in that cold weather over the weekend. knowing I'm just coming out of the hospital, feeling better, still working, and, you know, taking my asthma treatment. So I couldn't stand outside for that long to see the races as bad as I wanted to.
All right, well, then we absolutely have to remove his demerits because that was a legitimate health issue.
I don't think we gave him a demerit for that.
I did.
Oh, okay.
So in the emergency room.
Yeah, and, you know, and I apologize about that because what happened is when you sent that particular text message, you know, we were on and I wasn't looking at my phone because everything blows up, everything blinks and does shit and everything. I don't know, Tom, I can't see that neither.
Once the weather goes all the way cold and stays cold, I'm good. I won't have no problems. But the transition from warm to cold, warm, cold, it just tears my chest up really bad. So I'm still dealing with that. But the reason I'm not there tonight was traffic. It didn't have nothing to do with that. I was on my way, but I just couldn't get off that turnpike to make it to 78.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw the picture you sent me. It was pretty ridiculous. But I got to tell you, neat spot down there in the woods. Very neat spot.
Yeah, I've been there before. So we can't say the spot, right? We have to keep that like,
Yeah.
Right. Well, I heard you guys had a good time, and I was getting reports from the spot from other guys that were texting my phone. Some guys from up here, I guess, you know, they didn't know that, you know, you guys were there.
It was actually a little busy for me personally to text because we had a mechanical issue, which we'll talk about at some point over the course of the show.
Right. You had to go down there and work on some stuff?
No. Well, my own stuff.
Our own stuff, yeah.
Another whole.
You're talking about the vehicle you used to get there?
Yeah.
A slight Ford issue.
Yeah, the trusty excursion has become not so trusty. And actually, what we do have, Crunch, if you want to go on with it, we got Anthony just called in as well. So you want to bring him in? No, Anthony, the guy from the woods.
Oh.
I don't know how much.
Give him a code name. So, you know, we're secretive right now.
Okay. Code name is Anthony. Hang on a minute.
Go ahead and deal with him. I'm going to keep on listening. And, fellas, I'll be back next week in full tip-top shape. And I miss you guys.
All right, man. We miss you too, buddy. Feel better.
All right.
See ya. Anthony, you there, buddy? Should be there. Says on air.
Yeah. Bueller?
Yeah, you there?
Negative.
All right, he'll call back.
I'm going to punt him.
That's
I have that control.
He'll call back. So, all right. Well, good to hear Crunch is alive.
Yeah. Well, I know he's got asthma, and I know that can act up, especially during the weather changes. Yeah, I didn't even probably tell you guys. He had sent me a picture of his wristband from last week that he was like actually in the hospital. But by the time I saw that shit, it was, you know, I mean, I don't look at my phone. Like somebody right now is texting and see who this is. All right. And this is probably Anthony.
Yep.
Hang on a minute here. Hold on. Yo, buddy, you there?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, now I got you.
Jay.
What's up, Ant?
What's up, man?
Same. I guess we're just going to catch up on the weekend a little bit. We've been we just had Crunch on, but he had to cut out. He was stuck in traffic apparently. But yeah, he comes from New York City to get here on Mondays. He works in the city, so it was tough today. But how you making out?
Making out all right. You know, the sting's still there, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it was fun for us, man. We appreciated you letting us in on that thing. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Would have been a better outcome, but it sucks having too much power sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's like they say, it's like I told that kid when we were gonna race. It's not really about the faster car. It's more about who plays the game better. It's more like a game of chess. You just got to be you got to make the smarter moves.
Yep.
And really the top key thing is your team. You need good people behind you. I used to think, you can be invincible. Like, I feel like I'm always invincible, and I thought I was Superman, and I never believed in having a good team until, like, you learn and do that. And then when the team is kind of demolished a little bit, then you learn that you need good people in your corner because it makes a difference.
Sure it does.
Those kids, seeing them, they got their act together. They got one guy to do this, one guy does that, this one does this, and the other people are up there make sure the road is right. It's important to have that.
Well, just, what? So the listeners know what's going on, because we really didn't open up and say anything. So Anthony had a race this weekend, somewhere in the woods in the middle of New Jersey. And
I want to interject and say, very cool spot. And I understand now. When we got there, I understood. Anthony told you, bring flashlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody has, and I mean, I kind of live a little bit in the woods. But let me tell you,
Not that dark.
that's dark.
I know. It was cool.
That's as dark gets.
Yeah, it was
wow.
very, very cool. So Anthony had a race, and why don't you, honestly, we didn't see too much of it. We were on the starting line, but walk us through it. Tell us about your car, their car, and what. I mean, you were driving, so you had the best view.
All right. Well, these are kids from New York, like the Long Island area. They have a third gen Camaro, small block, stock block, 23 head, all that nonsense. And I've seen of them this year. They've been going around tearing up the place. And the first time I met them is when they came down, me and Marcus from Philly, through an 8-car shootout. So they came down with a bunch of New York cars, and that's how we all kind of correlated and got together. So we kind of raced around then, and then, people start talking on the boards and Facebook and so on and so forth. So it's just been an ongoing thing. And, it goes with everybody. I think we have the best spot in the East Coast to race. And you see how much it holds and how long people have been out there. I mean, they were out there, 7, 8 o'clock at night?
Well, you see, that's the thing. Now, let me just take a couple steps backward because I have never been down there. I've been in Newark when it's been busy, because I used to go down there, God, I guess it was when Brian was driving in 95 maybe.
Out there in the Crunch days, me, Crunch, and them always going at it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty busy, and there was a lot of times that cars would be parked everywhere, all around the triangle, and that's kind of how you knew how busy it was. Like if cars were now parked all around the triangle and further away, then you're like, oh boy. Well, when we got there, I mean, it was cold. It's getting towards winter, and I looked around. I said, man, there's a lot of, I said to Anthony, I said, there's a lot of people here. He's like, this is nothing.
Yeah, in the parking lot.
They're all on the road.
Yeah, and then they started coming back to the parking lot, and we're like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of cars there, and I don't mean, just cars driving around that, they got a set of slicks bolted on them. So, they're there. They're not there waiting for a particular store to open.
Yep.
They're there to race.
Yep.
But then the amount of cars that showed up on trailers.
I know.
I was shocked.
It was cool.
And then when you got to the road, forget it, They were people who wait on the road. They don't even come to the spot.
Yeah, I mean, we parked, a good quarter mile away.
Yeah.
On the road. We had to.
Yeah, easily.
All right. So anyway, he's got a 3rd gen Camaro, and you got your. Well, tell him about your Monte Carlo a little bit.
I got a '84 Monte Carlo. It's a small block, standard degree head on a hit, and I've always in the beginning when I came out, people cried about my suspension because it used to be a bracket car, so it's got a ladder bar suspension. But my fight always was to everybody who claims stock suspension. It's not stock suspension. And today's stock suspension is truly better than most ladder bar suspension. So I never bought into it, fell into it, and never wanted to hear about it. So it took me a while, about a year or two, for everybody to get over that, but they seemed to get over it. So now I was able to get races. So, we set this race up, which would have worked for me better if it was the last weekend because it was warmer.
Yep.
But he had some other race that he decided to do in his area because he lives 6 hours away. So it wound up pushing off to this weekend, which didn't work in my favor because trying to put the power I'm putting down on that road really didn't work out, as we all seen.
Yep.
Now I hate to interrupt, Anthony, but I just want to ask you a question. Tom actually brought this up, and look, I would have loved to have talked to you right then and there, but trust me, I've had my dick kicked in the dirt a few times and didn't really feel like talking to anybody for like a couple days. Did that thing not hook during a burnout? Like it doesn't, like Tom mentioned it sounded like it never pulled down.
It happened. It's funny you say that. What it was, when I was doing the burnout and I'm going, I noticed that it's not grabbing and it's not hooking, and I noticed when I let it go, it doesn't grab. You don't feel that jerk, which you guys will hear the jerk.
Yep.
The pull down.
Jerk. Right. Well, it didn't do that. So in my mind, I'm saying, all right, here I am. I got to do something. So what I did is I backed up, obviously, and I purged the nitrous, get all the air out, do whatever I'm going to do. Well, I shut it off, and I said, all right, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to get to the top of first gear. When I click into my high gear, then I'm going to start turning the kit on. Well, that was all motor, and I left it like 2,000 RPM, didn't trans brake it because I tried to take all I could out of it, minus, stopping and saying, hey, wait, I got to take timing out. I got to pull power out. On the fly, that was the best I can do, and you see what happened.
Yeah, you didn't hook for 10 feet. Didn't sound like.
It was right at the hit of the throttle. It jumped in the air and just blew the tire right off. And
yep.
I pedaled it about 4 or 5 times, and it was going to the center line. That was it.
And he was kind of pretty gone already, right?
Yeah, that's when I was just like, there's no way I'd even get to him. So
Yeah.
why even chance it?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough for us to see where we were, but it looked like he made a pretty good pass. It did.
He went, for his sake, it's easier to manage. See, he has a heavy car just like I do, and it's easier to manage the lower power, and they know that because that's why they don't race at the track. They know that they're the underdogs in the track, but they're fast enough on the street because the power they're putting down gets them from A to B, and that's the whole key.
Yep. Well, kind of, hate to say it, but hats off to him. He knew what he could do that night. And,
Exactly.
No,
definite props to them. Their team got their shit together, and he drives good, and he does what he's got to do to win. And he did it. He knows because that's why they were out there earlier. And my mistake was I should have took time and added the car instead of second guessing it and playing with the delay on the nitrous. I should have took more time and added the car for motor wise instead of being at like 30 degrees. I should have brought the motor down to like 24, 22 degrees, and then took no time and added the nitrous and let it go at that.
Yeah, really deaden up the engine side on its own to try
Right.
to get it to move.
Yep.
Leaving on a converter too, like leaving it like foot brake at 2,000, that might actually hit the tire a little harder than leaving on a brake because
Well, that's the fine line that I carry with a ladder bar suspension. When you have a suspension car, you have to hit it to make it work.
yeah,
If you don't snap it, then it's just going to blow the tire off due to no transfer.
yep.
So I ride that fine line.
well,
And then I think the road prepping wasn't the best thing to do. That was something I never done. I've always encouraged other people when they used to say, hey, well, we prep, so is that a problem? I used to say, no way, go ahead, because they actually fucked the road up. But me doing it, like having my guys do it, I should have never did that. That was something I've been dead against, and a lot of people actually questioned me on that. Like, why did you do that? You never did that.
you've never done that before?
No, it doesn't work. You can't. When you're running a road like that, the prep is always there. And once you do the burnout, you're reacting to prep. You're heating it, so it's coming out of the ground. For the rubber that's there.
Yeah.
If you spray it wrong, light it, heat it, you actually make it slick and gooey. And what they did is they balled up the rubber because they were baking the rubber.
Well, I'll tell you, when I went to Street Outlaws, they all they did was pour some VHT right under their tires and did a burnout right in it. And this is after, the first night, the night before they tested at the street we were at.
Right.
Yeah, I could say that now because they aired it.
Yeah, they aired the episode. You're right.
But yeah, there was no flamethrowers, no nothing, and I didn't think of that, but I kind of agree with it now. You probably did more damage than good because you're not going to heat the earth. All you're heating was that little bit of rubber on top, and you probably screwed it up. They did.
They did. They balled it up. It became like marbles, and it was just stupid. And I felt it in the burnout, and I knew it. What I should have done is, this is my problem. I'm not a quitter, and my ego is too high at times. Like, I'm a little bit too big for myself, and I should have backed out at a race. I should have paid the punk money, give him some money for his time coming down, and left it at that. But I always feel like I'm Superman. I'm going to do the impossible, and I don't, want people to talk shit, saying, oh, you chickened out. So I actually just went with it, and being it was 90% of my money anyway, so I should have just backed out. That would have been the smarter move.
Well, hats off to you too, then, for being having the balls to try it. But
Yeah.
you did learn some stuff, which is always good.
Anthony, the way the race was stipulated, could you have done a second burnout to see if it would have got better or no?
No, I could have, but at that point, you gotta, you're low on fuel at that time. The night, it was so cold that I had to keep heating the bottle because the bottle pressure was dropping fast.
Yeah.
So you run into a lot of those kind of problems, which now you get the tire up to temperature of the road, but now your bottle pressure's down. Now you're going to hurt the motor up top end.
Yeah.
Because when you're out there and this guy's sitting next to you, you're not lifting. And now you're going to start popping ring lands and all that bull.
Yeah.
It just gets to be ugly. There's just a lot. Like I tell everybody, it's like a game of chess. You got to think before you move, and you got to stay on top of everything. And the problem with me is I have a lot of things on my plate because I take care of everything myself. Like, I make sure the bottle, you always need somebody to say, hey, is the bottle on? Are you good? Do the rams, do this, do that. I do everything myself. And it's just, you just got to keep on top of that. And that's the problem. You're asking for more problems.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing against you that night, because, you're right. You could have used a couple people to help you, but you do know enough about it. You've done it enough that you didn't miss anything. The biggest thing against you that night was the temperature. It was 34 right before you ran.
Mm-hmm. And the ground was whatever they heated it to, but it kept dropping quick, which I think made condensation and sweated it.
That's another really good point.
Yeah.
Another good. I guess the moral of the story here is stick to what you know, because you said you tested like the night before and it wasn't bad.
It was crazy. The night before we went out there, it was just, and that's another point. It was only, there wasn't my crew that was supposed to be out there. They didn't come out there. It was me, Denise, and another friend of mine, and I made one burnout. There were leaves and pine needles on the road, and the road was dead cold. Nobody was on it. And the car got out it hooked, got out about 100 feet, and then started to wiggle a little bit, but it was manageable. And I said, okay, then I'll be all right for the next night, We'll spray a little BHT, heat the road up, and I'll be golden. Well, we all see what happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a cup full of VHT under each tire would have been...
That. The problem, my car, I'm the guy that comes out with the water, and a lot of people in the beginning, they were like, what the hell, are you freaking crazy and all that? And I'm like, it doesn't work. I've tried VHT on 3 occasions just to prove people wrong and really to close it for myself. It will not do a burnout. It will not. It just it stays hooking and it drags the tires. I've tried it many times and it won't work. I got to use water.
I noticed the Outlaw guys. Well, actually, we'll talk about it off the air. I got a couple things I got to tell you. But anyway, hey, it's the break sometimes. You learn some stuff and you did all you could do. So going forward now, what do you think? I was telling Mike and Tad on the way home that you do all the work on the cars and you got a couple other projects.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to come out with a couple other cars. I mean, the Monte Carlo, that's done for the street. That was my last pass. Like I told you guys, win or lose, that's a wrap for that car.
Yeah, that thing's too fast.
Yeah, it's too crazy. I mean, I got a Turbo Nova I'm coming out with, and I'm going to play with that because that's all about boost management, so you can ramp the power in better.
Yep.
I got an all-motor Duster coming out, and I got another Nova, a little box Nova coming out. That's going to be a nitrous car.
This is all your stuff?
This is me and my buddy I partnered up with. My Nova wagon's mine. The other 2 cars are mine and his.
Nice.
So.
Well, we're going to spend... Sorry. I was going to say, we're going to spend some time down there, I think, because that place is cool.
Yeah, and the like on regular, like what is the night for that area? Like, is it always Saturday night or is it Friday and Saturday? What is it?
Really any night, and some of the best races we try to put on off nights because of all the spectators. Like, just people, their grandmother and grandfather hear about it, and they go out there and they sit on the road waiting for us. So we try to stay away from Saturdays and Fridays, and if we have a real important race, it goes off on like a Sunday mainly or like a Wednesday night. But that night, it was already set up, and, word gets out because all the New York guys like to tell everybody, and so many silly guys to tell everybody. So, I mean, did you guys see that 57 Chevy?
Yeah.
It was like a pro model.
Yeah, with the zoomy headers coming out behind the front wheels like the
burnout about 5 minutes after he did it.
Yeah, we heard that thing do its burnout. And then it made a single, like a half-track single, and it sounded like it never hooked.
Yeah, it didn't, and it was just crazy. I mean, that's the stuff that's out there. But, yeah, on the regular nights, the weekends normally, you can go down. You probably go there right now if somebody's out there testing.
Wow.
And it's a little bit of a problem. It's getting too comfortable. I mean,
Yeah.
back in 2010, they did a block. They blocked both sides of the road in, and they went after everybody. They towed cars, impounded cars. So my feeling, I think it's going to get back to that again. I think they're just setting us up because they'll come there, do what they do, chase us out. But I think they're setting us up for a good heist.
And I mean, if you're there watching, they'll take your car?
Yes.
Wow.
And they came one night and they gave everybody a drag racing ticket, spectator or not, and all spectators got illegally parking tickets.
Wow.
So it's just, stuff to inconvenience you, make you go down to the court, fight it, pay the fines, all that nonsense.
Oh, I would definitely get arrested. I would most definitely, nonconformist I am. I would, oh boy. Yeah, I mean,
if it does happen, people really can't complain because they've been real good to us, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were actually telling people that were watching, we're going to take your car?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you're on a no park zone. And the thing with that area, that's a park around there. So you have to be careful. Like, we've had the park rangers give out tickets.
Well, if you think about it, they can press charges on you. They roll up and they just write everybody for racing. And now the onus is on you to go to court and pay your fines and prove that you weren't.
No, I mean, in order for a cop to write you a ticket for racing, he would really have to witness you racing.
I'm not sure about that.
Of course he
We
does.
thought you did. No, they do it.
They could write you a ticket for anything.
Oh, yeah, they could.
That's what I'm saying. So
listen, if they wrote me a ticket for racing, I'm driving that dumbass Excursion with the fucked up transmission. Do you really think that it?
No, but what I'm saying is what they do is inconvenience you.
Yeah.
You got to pay or you got to get a lawyer if you're worried about it, and you got to go to court.
Inconvenience I could deal with.
Here's something they did that was crazy. They did probably about 2 years ago. They gave a bunch of the guys. There was a couple guys out there testing. Couple were spectators. They gave them all drag racing tickets. So what they did is when they went to court, the prosecutor said, "We're not making any deals. This is the only deal you get, and you can take it or you can take the drag racing ticket and lose your license." It was some kind of reckless driving ticket or whatever it was, and it was 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was bitching about that. Like, "Are you crazy? Don't take that." And a couple of my buddies were like, "I'll take that in a second." Like, yeah, give me that, because you get a drag racing, your insurance goes crazy. I mean, it's a lot of bad things. And that's what they did. But even for the guys that weren't drag racing.
Wow.
They had to take the ticket.
Well, next time we go, we're going to go to one of the intersections that's close
And walk.
and drive up on our bicycles.
Well, you know what we like about that spot? The good thing is, and this is why I feel comfortable going later, I always like to get out to the road about 2, 3 o'clock, because 9 out of 10 times the headlights you see coming is going to be trouble. So you can prepare yourself, get back on the trailer, because if you noticed, I don't know if you noticed, on the direction we run in, it's very long, and you see headlights the minute they turn on the road. Well, you're still about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away. So when you see them headlights, you can turn around, run, do what you got to do.
And unless those cops have night vision, there is no way they're sneaking up on you with the lights off, because you ain't driving around there in the dark. Hell no.
And I don't think they want to, because God forbid they did and we're on a pass.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Hopefully be smart enough not to do that.
What about if they came from the other direction we came from?
Oh, you can see them too. You can see them on the other side of that highway coming. You can see the headlights coming for about
Oh, yeah. Before it like jogs over a little bit when you cross over. Yeah.
So
Yep.
you can see them. And that's why I like it late.
Well, the one thing that I was amazed by is that as we were approaching this location in the woods, I noticed a sea of flashlights.
Yeah.
Just off in the distance. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? I'm like, holy shit.
It's some wild stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we liked that, man. It was good.
One thing that I will say, I give most people, I mean, unless I couldn't see it, because again, I mean, I shined my light, I got a retarded flashlight. I shined it down the length of things.
Mm-hmm.
It looks to me like people, at least in this location, unlike Newark, are smart enough not to park at, say, I don't know, the 8th mile mark.
Yeah.
With a bullseye on them. I mean, that was pretty good. But I did notice that some people, and I don't know if it was I think it was the first time these particular girls were there, because they're like, are they going to race right here? When are they going to go? And they're standing like right about the 60-foot mark. I'm like, oh, dear, you really shouldn't stand there.
Yeah.
You really kind of got to move.
We usually tell them, we say we don't race, and I always make that known, especially if I'm racing. Anyone who's past that starting line, let me know, because I'm shutting it off. I'm not going to jail because somebody's an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could be, I mean, look, of course, the way that the way things would work is that you are racing, you would be at fault. But, I mean, you wouldn't have to be doing anything intentional, and a lot of bad shit could happen. Yeah, I didn't know where the start line was, so I was down a little bit, and then I saw it, and I was like, all right, I'll come right back here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's people standing next to it burning out. I mean, a dry shaft could fly out, the trans could grenade. I mean, that's just a lot of crazy stuff that I don't do,
Well, I can tell you this. I don't think it was probably your guys, but I'm pretty sure, unless and Tad can correct me, I think I thought that there was no way that this could be ready to go, and there were people standing dead between the cars.
Yes. Yep. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I was surprised at that.
Now, if you get a good nitrous backfire and it blows the piece of the hood or even that flame and sends you somebody's hair or something, it's stupid.
Yeah, that kind of stuff people need to, I mean, just got to think about what you're standing right next to. I didn't like going in the dining room half the time. You know what I mean? And now we got a lot more shit spinning at the same time. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was a very entertaining time, and I have to thank you again for fuses. I actually have fuses for Tom to bring back to you because, listen, I know it's going to happen, dude. You found me a couple fuses. You're going to get stuck somewhere and be like, motherfucker, I gave Mike those fuses. So I'm not going to have that. If you get them back and then you're stuck, it's on you. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I'm glad you guys had a good time. Thank you for coming down. And like I said, you come down anytime you want, and that was a little hectic day, but there's days that it's more orchestrated and, you see a lot more races. I mean, there was more races after you guys left, but, at that late, I understand you want to get home.
Yeah, it was a little cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Little cold, and I think I rolled in my driveway. I think the thing that tells me when I got home said 416.
Yeah.
It was
I got home great.
Yeah, I'm getting a little too old for this shit.
No, I wasn't worried about that. It was cold, but yeah, I didn't sleep much because then my phone started blowing up in the morning about, the street outlaw stuff.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Anyway, well, we appreciate you calling and also inviting us, and we're going to spend some time down there. I'm going to talk Mike into building a car. Maybe we'll get down there and have Tad drive it.
Okay. If you want to win, okay.
Oh, Christ. All right. Well, thanks again, Anthony. It was fun, and sorry it didn't pan out for you, but we went down there just to see it. So thanks for having us. It was good.
He'll get him.
I'm sure he will. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't sound like he's a guy that says, "Well, that's it. I'm done with this shit."
No.
Yeah, no. Just that car on that road.
Don't blame me because that thing did sound. I remember. I think I said it to Tom. I think it was when you took it off the trailer and you were coming up. I
Yes.
think you might have cleared it once, like just jumped on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh boy,
Yeah.
that's serious.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, she's got some serious power.
Oh yeah. All right, man. Well, you have a good night and thanks for calling in.
All right, guys, you too. Thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Ant.
What a good dude.
I know.
He's a good dude.
He's obviously well into the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are things that to me, if people are going to do this, look, we've said it a million times before, and it's very hard for us to say this after now attending one. Street racing ain't a good idea. It's really not. But by the same token, neither are drugs. Neither is booze.
Yeah.
Neither, or my Diet Coke fetish or the pack of Newports I got sitting on the table. Yeah, I smoke. And it'll kill. Like I got 5 years left, maybe tops. I'm pretty sure of it. But this kind of thing, the people are going to do it, whether you tell them that they should or they shouldn't. They're going to do it.
Well, there's adrenaline rush there that probably can't be replaced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And even going there to watch, it made me think back about the times that we went to Newark. And we had a lot of fun.
Yep.
Granted, when we were in Newark, wasn't November. It was summer, was more fun.
Yeah.
A lot of hanging around, joking around. We had Simon's garage that we hung out in, playing dice. I learned how to play dice and spades in there.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. What are you laughing at, you dick?
Nothing.
You just keep your mouth shut, you and your FP disco duck or whatever the fuck you got in your car. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And that kind of thing, that closeness of the people together to enjoy this is good. But man, when Tad and I saw those people standing that far up, I was like, Tad, don't. And he's like, no, I know. And then
that's why I backed off. I was back by the woods. It's not going to do me much good, but at least I got a chance to jump behind a tree or those little twigs. But
yeah, there's those little spindly trees. They weren't stopping much of nothing.
No.
The one thing I think I said to you, I said, are those guys going to stand there?
Did they,
when,
especially the chicks are right there
no,
standing.
I'm talking about the retards that were between the cars.
Oh, yeah.
And they did.
And they stood there and they sucked themselves a little bit sideways. Okay, they're getting ready to. What the fuck would possess somebody to stand there? Keep in mind, anybody listening, 2 cars lined up to make a pass. Okay.
On a normal width street.
On a normal width street, not a, gigantic 4-lane road here. Normal width. And
so there's 4 feet between them.
Maybe.
And
there are people with cars. Now, granted, Anthony wasn't on a trans brake, but you know what's going on. You've been to the racetrack, standing at the door.
And it wasn't 2 people.
No, it wasn't 2. It was
20.
Well,
it was 10, whatever, somewhere.
They basically filled the gaps around the car.
Yes.
Insane. I agree with Anthony that if he normally says, look, I would probably be the guy that rolled up there and said, listen to me. See this start line? You guys want to see a race? And
Get behind it.
Yeah, I'd make everybody on the other side aware too. You're not getting any, I guess they call it punk money, DP money, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
You're not getting shit if I call this off because it ain't safe, period. And I'd make that really clear because I agree. And then, it's bad enough that you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, but man, that changes lives. Something goes wrong.
Oh, yeah. And it's stupid stuff that you can change easily. Don't stand between the cars.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to, before we get on to the next subject, because we have so many tonight, I just want to
We actually do.
I know, it's crazy. I want to shout out to Jared Holt and the Real Street crew. Jared is from OKC, and he's been on Street Outlaws. He's going to try to get a spot, and his stock appearing Toyota Supra just went $794.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty badass.
Now, we actually had somebody that was going to come on to try to hype this and talk a little bit of crap, and we won't say anything about it, but unfortunately that leads us into why we didn't necessarily get right into this, right?
Yeah. I mean, we postponed a week because we were gonna talk some shit about Street Outlaws, but the Big Chief car was destroyed Saturday night. I guess it was same night that we went to our race.
Yeah, I think it was, because I think in the morning that's when I saw it, when my uncle was nice enough to wake me up at like 7:30 or 7 o'clock to say, hey, what are you doing?
Yep.
Your stove work? I put a gas stove in it, did the plumbing with him. He's a plumber.
Right.
And he hooked everything up the day before. So I had to check at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Of course you did. He didn't know you got home at 4:30.
No.
But apparently the race went out. I guess it was a taping. Who's the guy? Chucky?
Chucky, yeah.
Chucky. I don't know.
He's been on the show, I think, almost from the inception, I think.
Yeah. I guess he painted his car.
I don't know if he painted it or it's a different car. I mean, no offense to any of the Street Outlaw guys, but I kind of don't follow it probably like I should.
Yeah, we probably should, but
it's almost like watching a bad presidential debate or election. There's so much fucking crap you could talk about.
I know.
I mean, really, there's probably an hour's worth of material there just watching some of the dumb shit that goes on there.
Well, we do have to talk about what Asian did at the beginning of the episode that I was at.
Yeah, well, we'll get
we'll get back to that. But anyway, so
but from a safety perspective, because you actually attended a taping.
Yep.
Like, it's not like they take this seriously, right?
Oh yeah, very.
Yeah,
it's very serious. It's obviously, well, everybody knows. They say it right on the show now. It's closed course, and
wait a minute, we're getting some clarification because we are not Street Outlaw guys. Brian Davis's car is named Chucky. It was not Chuck. See, now that's what I said to you when you said it was Chuck. And I said, look, and I'm not hating on Chuck if he's listening.
Well, I didn't say it was Chuck. I just read.
Well, somebody, it wasn't Tad.
We don't know.
Not me.
Oh, yeah, I probably said it, but I don't know.
Right. Well, that was from everything that I had seen about, and that's why we got good fans. Thank you, Tanner.
Yep.
From everything that I had heard, that it was, I just kept hearing Chuck, or Chucky. I figured it was the guy. And I said, I don't think so. I said, because that car, his Mustang, the last time I saw it, what did I say?
You said it was white or yellow or something?
Yeah, and no business racing a car like
Chiefs. Yeah. That's exactly what you said. So, yeah, you were right. For today, you were right one time.
Yeah. The guy's from Detroit. Another tidbit of information from Tanner. Thank you, Tanner.
So, anyway, they get out. And
got to get a shirt, dude. We got to get shirts.
Well, that's another subject.
All right, well,
we got.
Let's not get. Tom's making a list.
Yeah, I got my hit list here. So
SHIR. You got it. Okay.
Yeah, got it. So they went out, and it looked to me like they were pretty fairly together. Crow was out on him, and he started crossing, corrected once, and then turned right into the Crow's quarter panel.
Yeah,
really?
That car.
How do I know all that?
I was just
damn.
I was just.
I'd imagine that car would lift off.
You a retard.
Yeah, I am. I lost it. All right, so we saw video of it, actually. We're pretty cool, now that I mention it.
I have nothing to do with this. Any copyright attorneys, I don't want to hear nothing. Mike is an innocent bystander.
Damn.
Continue, Tom.
No, I'm done.
No, but we did see video of it that, like I said to Tom, I said, I have little Ukrainian friends. We could,
Yeah. No.
you know, it's not something that came, through a source that, I mean, look, I'm going to go on record and say that I'm sure this will end up out.
Yeah.
This was a big enough deal.
Yeah, because we're not some kind of super sleuths that, we get this shit.
No, but it was a hard crash.
Yeah, very.
And the one thing that I had wondered is when I saw the pictures of the car sitting there, it looked to me like there was crumpled remains of something next to where the car was. And it looked like concrete.
Yeah, it looked like you blew up concrete.
Now, not because you saw a video or anything, but is there any concrete structures or walls there?
If it was the same place down track, there might have been.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That was a hard hit.
Yeah, and by the way, we didn't say this, and we should say it. Thank God that everybody involved is okay. Justin apparently is okay. The other guy apparently is okay. They're both substantially less liquid right now from a monetary standpoint, but nobody died, which is good.
Yeah, and that's definitely, I'm sure, I could be wrong, but I think that people that do this on this level, like Anthony, is a perfect example.
Yep.
Safety does matter.
Yes.
It's no longer just, okay, it's a hassle. And, and I've said shit about having a roll bar in a street Corvette that I want to build and everything else. Different situation. If I was going to be racing this thing daily, yes, of course you have to have everything because you're infinitely putting yourself at more and more risk.
Yep.
And you could see how that car was. That's pretty beat up. I mean, you don't need to see a video. Look at the pictures. And he's okay.
Yeah, he is okay. Well, that's a real car.
I know.
And real safety. I mean, those guys wear Hans devices and everything. They are very safety conscious, which is good. But again, we're glad that everybody's okay.
Doesn't he have a funny car cage in that thing too? I think wrapped around.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got something relatively serious in it. I mean, it's I haven't, you've been around.
I would at those speeds, but
yeah, I would. And by the way, I want to note one other thing going back to Anthony's thing.
Go.
Did they race a quarter or a half?
A quarter. No,
So-
you mean a quarter or an eighth?
I mean, a quarter and eighth.
No, they go a quarter mile.
My God, dude.
I know. It's insane.
So the Woods in South Jersey, do they always race a quarter?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
And talk, I don't want to get into how dangerous that is. I mean, you get into the marbles on the side. Well, you felt how soft it was on the side.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, where
Well-
the pavement stops, there's like a little drop off.
Yeah.
Because the pavement is up a little bit.
I mean, and you go flying into trees.
That's one of those things that anybody that's ever driven anything, ever, that's gotten even remotely off a road, that the vehicle gets sucked that direction.
Yep.
Well, that thing, if you drop the front wheel on that, that's going to stop and probably turn you damn near 90 degrees.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's a rough place, man. You got to have a set of balls for that.
Wow.
What is Cletus showing me here?
That's
the cage in there.
Oh, the cage.
Pro, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Obviously did his job. So we're glad he's okay.
No doubt.
We're glad everybody made it through this. And apparently, the guy, let me say this guy is from Detroit, Brian Davis, and his car was named Chucky. And I guess that's probably
What are you going to name your Corvette?
Corvette.
Yeah, right.
I don't need FP Green, Dumbo, Tron, whatever the fuck this retard has in his car. I don't care.
bullet.
Yeah.
No, not.
I think that's
happening.
taken, man.
Yeah, I think
damn.
might be taken. No names. There's no reason for naming cars. Shitbox usually.
Disco
applies.
Potato?
Yeah, Disco Potato.
Mike's Folly.
You could name it Ballroom Dancer.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and that I can tell you that like that kind of thing for me. Look, not saying anything bad about it, but I'm not a street race guy. I don't really have any desire to do that.
but I just figured out Sonic Yellow because he's a Sonic fanatic, and it's yellow.
Tad,
What?
That's actually pretty good.
how's your fuel pressure, buddy? How's that gauge?
He just doesn't know.
You're gonna get right back in the barrel. Right back. I'm telling you.
You're gonna make me order a freaking gauge.
This is exactly,
he was on the limiter right there.
I know.
For a second.
He doesn't learn. Does not learn.
It's a daily driver. What are you talking about?
So, Tad, I will give you a slight chance to redeem yourself before we close up.
Now what?
Close up.
Well, yeah, we're getting, unless you want to go more than an hour, I don't give a
Oh, we
shit.
might have another caller or something.
Okay.
We went an hour?
Yeah, went an hour.
That was fast.
It's to 10, I don't know. It's maybe close.
No, we got 10 minutes.
All right.
Quit trying to, I mean, our time for stardom is very short. Don't rush it.
Tad,
Yes.
would you have anything you would like to tell the listeners about my particular mode of transportation for this past week?
Forgot about that.
What, the one that we drove in and
I'm standing here on my arms on my side saying, go ahead, take a shot. And
well, no, you had an electrical fiasco basically that we didn't see coming, and you diagnosed it.
well, you were talking all kinds of shit. Like you're going to think, I can't wait for the podcast on Monday. I'm going to talk shit on Mike.
I did.
All right, time out. Let's can we go to a couple more subjects that people actually want to, we are going to talk about Mike's diagnostic prowess.
Yes.
He is good. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
We're at the street.
He had the iPhone. He diagnosed it. We
Short
fixed
version for right now. We're at the street race. Somebody has to piss because they're an old man, and it wasn't me or Tad. And so we had to drive over to Wendy's, and we pull into Wendy's parking lot, and Mike says, "Wow, I got no throttle." And you guys are 2 hours from home.
Yeah.
I was an hour and 45 or an hour and 30, and the truck just shuts off. And I'm like, shit, I'm looking at my phone for limo drivers' numbers. And shit. Mike says, I got AAA. Like 4 idiots are going to be in the front of a flatbed. But anyway, you figured the oil thing, and I think that was a problem too.
Nah, I don't think that was it. I think
it was all the electrical.
And you know what kills me? Well, let's as Alan would say, he's got me all fired up today too, that
Good enough?
douchebag. Yeah, Alan, I know you're listening. I see you on there.
Failure.
You got Tom mad too with your, I'm not even going to get into him.
Failure.
But let's put a pin in it there for a minute and we'll go back to it. Continue down your list since we actually have some prep today.
All right. So, you know what? My buddy Rudy just texted me. He was going to call in. They had a street race. They had a little bit of trouble. We'll talk about that next week because I want to talk about 2 things. And since we're close on time, tomorrow I'm flying down to Florida and I'm finally going to get that 2JZ test done.
Oh, dyno test.
Yeah.
Version 2.0.
Yeah. It's on the pump now. And, with the setup we have, it can make 1900.
Really?
Yeah. So we're going to hurt some parts tomorrow. Well, actually the test will be Thursday.
And let's clarify for the listeners. The plan is essentially to try to hurt some parts.
Yeah.
To see what goes wrong. This
Yes.
is not, we're trying to make a number and, this happened.
Well, we're not going out to blow shit up.
No, I mean, obviously you could pull fuel out of something to burn a hole in it.
No,
That's not the plan. The plan is to try to put as much power through this thing as possible to see how piston structure withstands.
To see where the first problem starts.
Yeah.
We're going to go up, probably going to start at 30 pounds and go up to all of it.
So you're almost at Tad's boost level.
Almost. We'll get there. Did yours make 1900?
Oh, the dyno just couldn't put out the numbers. So.
Yeah, word.
Probably.
So anyway, that's what's on my plate for the rest of this week. I'll be in Florida. You guys will be freezing your asses off up here. Well, it was 70 today, so. But I'll be in Tampa. And lastly, you mentioned shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to the shirt guy today.
Okay.
And I should have a couple.
Wait. I hold on a minute here. Tad.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to back up my somewhat.
No, you're correct.
Wasn't it going to be abroad?
Yeah, that's what I
Well,
thought.
it's her dad.
Huh?
That's a little creepy.
Well, no. Actually, what
We kept talking about the shirt person being hot.
well, she is.
Okay. Well, I
yeah.
just want to make sure we're talking about. All right. Continue.
Well, now
But it
we
runs
got to
in the
hope.
family.
Now we got to hope the dad's not listening because now he's going to shoot me. So thanks.
Sorry.
No,
buddy.
she's young. She's cute. She's adorable.
How young?
Yeah, not too young for you.
Okay. Continue.
So, I knew she was artistic, but I guess it's kind of not up her alley. And her dad is a car guy and a gun guy and a really cool guy. And he was able to decipher what was in my head because, I'm like you. We're the least artistic people that we know. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. He's going to give me a couple renditions in, a week or so, something like that.
Okay. That's good. And yeah, I guess somebody kind of has to have the vibe of a car person to be able to do, sort of what we're talking about there. We got a couple things in mind. We're not going to necessarily share them, but we're gonna pick something.
Whatever it ends up, it's going to be cool.
Look, the reason we have that stupid bead lock with Reddington Digital is because it was easy, it was fast, and that was the only thing we could do. Because before we actually started, like we had like a bunch of shows in the beginning, like when Alan was on, and we didn't really have anything. Like we didn't have a name.
No.
And I mean, this generic kind of name, it's more than anything, we gave the fuck up.
Right.
We
let good enough get in the way of perfection.
I know we did. It's terrible. It's terrible. And he's still on there listening. So I'll probably get hated on later.
Failure.
Okay. What else?
I wish he would call in and just at least tell me that he got my 3-minute rolling fucking text message, hatred.
Maybe he's still on because he's just stuck there because it can't do anything.
Wouldn't that be great?
No, I don't think so. No. Alan has a good heart. He's a decent guy, and he does let an awful lot of shit roll off his back because he still talks to me.
Yeah, he does.
All right. So what else you got, Tom? After the shirt.
Oh, that's it.
So it's back on me. Back
on you. So yeah, we could talk about your level of electronic deduction.
Well, the thing. I got to talk about my level of retardation first. I decided
that could be a whole show.
I decided that we were going to take the excursion down to this race in the woods,
right,
in the South Jersey woods. And I got to do almost like 7 times now. I've almost effed this up. It's been close. Did all dumb shit, tire pressure, actually changed my antifreeze because not that I thought it was going to get cold, but it did. And I know it ain't going to freeze at 32. You really need a little lower than that. But the antifreeze was watered down from the water pump leak. I just got the truck back this week from Ford. Just got it back. It was like $5,000 for an HD trans and them to put it in because and everybody said, well, you can't put a trans in, Mike. Yes, I can put a trans in, Mike. 2 things. I'm too old to be doing this shit. And second, there's a warranty that if this trans breaks in 3 years or unlimited mileage. So if it breaks within 3 years, I take it to a Ford dealer and say, fix this.
And they do.
And they do. So I figured that's beautiful.
And you could afford it.
Yeah, it's worth paying for it for me. Well, ironically, the transmission was an issue. Not from the trans itself, but trans related. What happened is there's an overdrive switch. Let me go back to the maintenance thing. So I did all this maintenance. I did everything on it. I fixed my exhaust gas temperature gauge because now I got the thing set on kill because it's much funner to drive. And honestly, it's much nicer to drive.
Funner?
More fun. You know what I mean? I'm just fucking around.
Thank you.
I know. Funner, more fun. It's very nice. It's super responsive on the throttle. It's fun to drive when it's this good. You're rolling the throttle a little bit and all of a sudden, bam, you got like 15 pounds of boost. It's nice. So I hooked the EGT back up. I fixed the lights on the gauge pod. I antifreeze, checked the air pressures, did all the dumb shit you would do for a trip, and did not ever once think to check the oil. So with a diesel, and people heard me talk about this before, this has a high-pressure oil system. There's a high-pressure oil pump pickup, which resides above the regular pickup. So if you're low on oil, it loses oil pressure, can't drive the injectors. So we figured that was it. So, Tom, what did you do?
I went and got oil.
Yep. 4 quarts.
5
quarts.
Yep.
We put 4 in. Still nobody home.
Yep.
Now, I remember when I was researching for the bad injector driver module that everybody kept asking this question. Does the tack work? Do the gauges work? Does this work? Does that work? And I remember turning the key on saying, no, everything works. And I turned the key on again, and I was thinking, I want to see how long the glow plug's staying on, because if I drag the batteries down, we ain't never getting a thing jump-started. You need to, it's tough.
Yep.
No gauge lights, no nothing. So I'm like, Googled, and it turned out that it was fuse 19. Well, what that is the stupid overdrive lever, which I've had for 8 months, 9 months.
Broken.
Rolling around in the back of the truck.
Yeah, because you
put the new one in.
Yep.
Didn't do it. And the wire rotted through, got rubbed through, and it shorts everything out. So what was happening to us, just so everybody understands how fucked up this was, we're driving, and we hit a bump, and that set it off. But you put it in, it's sitting there, we got the thing running, changed the fuse, started it, perfect, no problem. Put it in gear, fuse pops, that's it, done.
Smoke out of the column.
And I'm like, all right.
We ran out of fuses. I went back to Wawa. They didn't have them.
But yeah, well, actually, the way we got back to Wawa is we idled across the highway half a mile an hour.
Almost didn't make it up that hill.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Wawa, you suck. How could you not have fuses?
Yeah.
Especially that Wawa. It's a big truck freaking Wawa, wasn't it?
But the funny thing, yeah, a truck Wawa. What do you mean a truck Wawa?
It had a full, gasoline setup on both sides, didn't it?
It doesn't make it a Wawa with gas. Got to be a truck Wawa.
Well, I think the one
Ain't
side
a
was
truck
for
stop. You make it sound like the thing's a
It's
friggin' pilot, for Christ's sakes.
You know,
It almost was. It was
he
big enough.
admitted you fixed his car and that you hammering him in.
I'm still good. He was never out of the barrel. I just want him to
That's
dig a
true.
little hole.
Yada, yada, yada.
But what ended up fixing it is like, okay, we found the problem, but I couldn't get this thing apart. The guy that drove my truck put the steering wheel down. He's a little guy.
Yep.
So he put the steering wheel down one notch.
Yep.
And when I got in the truck, I couldn't really find my home. Well, I had it like a notch higher than I normally did.
Yep.
And wouldn't you know it, I put that thing right back to where it normally is, and it hasn't done it since. It's been perfect.
So you're still not going to change that stock.
Well, it hasn't changed yet.
Yeah.
Actually, it's sitting on a counter in here, so
So it made a move?
made a move from the garage to inside. So I'm planning on it.
Well,
So yeah, but that's why I was thanking Anthony for the fuses, because you're scrounging around looking for fuses, because I didn't know how many times this was going to happen. We could end up driving home and having it happen every 5 minutes.
oh, and then all he did was whine about, this thing is so slow because he couldn't put the good tune back in it.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing we did. I had the programmer, so I put the stock tune back in because I kept seeing the theft light flash.
Yep.
But that's, by the way, just to go back, the truck actually didn't stall. I had no throttle, so I figured I'd turn it off to reset the computer. Well, when you turn it off and go to turn it back on, that it thinks
Then we were
it's being
done.
hot wired. That's why it won't start. So it does something with the PAT system. It was just, but
So
this-
you need to give it time to just reset?
no, you need to put a fuse in, because if that fuse isn't there, it won't start. It thinks it's hot wired.
Got it.
Yeah, it was crazy. But
Wow.
I fixed that one just like Tad's, didn't I?
No. That was
Please.
we had no blown fuse.
No, we had no blown fuse. We had
He's
a blown brain.
He's a straight up hater. Just because you got formatted twice doesn't give you permission
Listen,
to be
Tad.
like that.
Okay.
If I'm going to go on record here and say, yes, you would have found it at some point because you would Google, and sooner or later, the fuel pump is like the only thing left after you change taillight bulbs or whatever else you would have done.
You'd have backed your dumb ass into it.
Yeah, you would have found it for sure. But I drastically helped this diagnostic time.
Yeah.
And not only that, I will tell you this. That thing, we don't have a picture of that, do we?
Picture what?
Let me just, I'm going to take everybody down Retard Highway for 5 minutes here.
Picture
with
what?
Tad.
I have pictures.
You have pictures of your car?
Yeah.
Put one on Facebook looking specifically from the front where we can see the hole in the hood.
No, I got to cover up my license plate.
Tad has a Subaru WRX. Is that an STI back in that year?
No.
Not in that year, no.
Okay. So it's a WRX, turbocharged, potato green, whatever the hell he's got in that thing. They have an intercooler that mounts on the top. So they have a hood scoop. Tad does not have a hood scoop. Tad has a hole in the hood of his car.
Yes.
I don't know why you wouldn't cover said hole. At least if it was an import thing, how about plexiglass?
No, I think I had something under there at one time. I think it just
Yeah, it was called an intercooler.
Never mind.
All right, we're off the rails.
Poor Tad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy. We're going to get it running. I did drive it out of the building, though, and it
Yeah.
does run.
And the clutch was smooth.
The clutch was very smooth. Thank you, Junior, for correcting Tad from being a 12-year-old with a license. All right. Anything else?
No, my set list is done.
Tad, you had kind of nothing. You just sat there like a boob.
Oh, I was, searching Facebook.
And I still have no
The Book of Faces. What?
no channel on the one side. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I'll have to figure that
I
out.
don't either.
I say you go to the technicians.
You got both sides?
No, I got one side, too.
Yeah, we're dead.
That's all right. We'll fix it in post. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. I don't know how to tell you to check with us about street racing in South Jersey, but let us know. Maybe we can hook you up. See ya.